Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to a Requiem in London. In this particular season, our good doctor, is it Marrow or Moreau?
Morrow.
Morrow, sorry. Our good Dr. Morrow has sent out a private invitation to her local dragon to discuss recent events at a place of her choosing. Good men in, well, not sure for Ires, but I'm pretty sure they won't have too many objections to this.
No, not really. If anything, Irons has been somewhat concerned and is happy to hear that an opportunity for talk is being offered.
And our friendly, sneaky dragon, how do you feel?
Nikolai is interested in the matter. He is glad she's reaching out, but at the same time, he is not overly concerned on pressing the matter. Like he said in the last session, it's her life, her choices. And he has no real political motivation to be concerned about this situation. So, yeah.
Then, our good doctor, where shall we hail at?
So she would have sent you an invitation to someplace that was on fairly neutral ground. Probably not as close to neutral territory as possible. Um, just a bar somewhere. Nothing particularly descriptive, nothing particularly well known. And she'll be waiting for you.
That, if Iron wants to ride, Julian will be paying for a cab to get there.
Um, yeah, yeah. Marcus will take up the offer.
And then, room. After a set amount of time, arriving at the location, Julian does kind of scan the area as he gets out of the cab. And says a little bit under his breath, like, I hope that eyeless freak doesn't come at me. Bah.
And Marcus mutters under his breath, and if they do, I've got my sports bag of doom with me.
Gotta work
Marcus,
on him.
Nikolai says suddenly from right behind them. I should hope not either. But the area seems clear.
Just because you can do that doesn't mean you have to do that all the time.
I barely ever do it.
Oh, let him have it. Make get a kick out of it.
Everybody gets a kick out of not being seen. It's like it's almost a freaking need for us. As he opens the bar door.
She'll be sitting at an open. She'll be sitting at an open table, with a drink in her hand. When you walk in, she will sort of raise her glass and nod to you. Wait for you to come over.
All right. Nikolai will stroll on over, offering out his hand as he walks over and goes, "Privet, comrade Moro."
Evening. She'll shake his hand.
Hey, Isabella. Hope you're doing well. Waves friendly.
Julian will come over and make sure not to get too close to her and more or less avoid looming over her and say, Doctor.
Evening.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, then I'll take a seat.
Please.
And he'll sit down at the table.
wanted-
Same with Nikolai. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to clear some things up. Things got rather heated last night.
They did.
It was not Joshua's place to tell you that I was joining the Lankea. It was not something that he was meant to. It was not something he was meant to say, and that was out of line. My issue. She thinks about how to phrase this. He doesn't speak for me. I'm not his lapdog. I'm not his arm candy. I'm not beholden to him in any way. I make my own choices.
Then why do you allow him to treat you that way? That's always concerned me since I've ever met you.
Have you seen how the Ordo treat people?
Marcus starts twiddling his thumbs.
I know it exists, but personally, I haven't had too much problems. I get my assignments, I accomplish them. That's pretty much it.
So if it's not in your direct line of sight, it's not something that concerns you.
I can't launch everybody.
You can't. My goal from the beginning, from before I was embraced, is to understand and to help. I became a veterinarian because I wanted to, not only did I want to be able to help animals and help people as well, but I was curious about how things worked. I thought the Order was a great opportunity to try to figure out how things work, to try to unlock the different mysteries of our own physiology of the world around us. But what I've seen, and what last night made abundantly clear, is that the purview of that has become too small. And the different sects are so caught up in their fighting and their dick waving, and they're proving who is right and who is wrong, that we cannot have simple communication. And within the Ordo, things have been allowed to happen, and things are allowed to be let go. That I'm concerned about my place in.
Julian
I
will
don't-
nod. So Julian will nod to your statements.
I don't appreciate your sentiment that I'm a traitor or a disappointment.
And again, Julian nods. That aligned to me. I won't deny that. Please forget.
And not an opinion that I necessarily share.
Raises his hand slightly and goes, I don't have a problem with you either way. I just find your choice in companions to be, and mind you, this isn't referring to the Lonesome Sanctum as whole. Just Joshua is a bit of a arrogant of dot.
Yes. But what you cannot deny is that he gets things done. He figured out ways to fight the Strix. He figured out a lot about what was going on. And I was able to. I've been doing research, but our research has only gone that far. In order for us to get to the bottom of what's been happening here with a lot of things in the city, we cannot just sit on opposite sides. or allow tempers to lead us to not want to work together.
As I understand that, do not think that as Julian kind of points around the table, do not think we have not been noticing the cracks in the wall. We've seen many. At this point, it's less that we don't see anything. We see too many things, and we don't really know what we can and cannot do about it. It was easier when we just got rid of spirits or captured people. It's harder when there might be a whole city-wide conspiracy that I have dealt with, that Arcus, not Arcus, Marcus has dealt with, and I have no doubt Nikolai has dealt with as well.
This is true. But you say we need to work together. You say we need to play with others nicely. Do you say this to your companion in the circus? I do not know him well, but from what I have met of him, from what I the few times I've had interacted with him, he treats others with utter contempt. He believes himself better. He gives off the appearance of believing himself better than everybody else. And it just rubs most people the wrong way. I do not believe the little spat Mr. Goodman had with him and his clown friend was due to the Lancium Sanctum as a whole, but more due to his personality.
And he's been doing that forever. And Arcus knows I've been dreaming about putting that guy in a bin and rolling him down a hill.
I've been trying my best to stop that from happening for obvious reasons.
Well, now you have your chance.
I'm actually, pardon me, you first.
There's a reason he does what he does. He knows how to command a room, and he knows how to get a rise out of people.
Does he get any real respect?
He's an archon and a bishop.
That is technically true. Marcus, you were saying.
Something else that has been worrying me. I've been hearing noises from you repeatedly that you seem to that people are still after you. Is that the case?
You were there with me the other night when we were drawn to that place. That wasn't an accident.
No, it wasn't. Have you? The thing is, I'm wondering why the hell they got me involved in all of this, especially since, believe it or not, I actually care a little bit about you.
Maybe that's why. You're an easy target.
However, what is really weird is in the whole aspect of that, apart from that piece of weirdness, which funnily enough also got me some answers. Why how should I put it? I've been expecting for weeks and weeks now to awaken a night, a room fully black, and just them ready to pounce on me and try to rip me to shreds. But they haven't done nothing of the sort, and I'm getting the feeling there is a third party involved. Maybe it is the wolf. Maybe it is even somebody puppeteering him. It's so goddamn Byzantine at the moment. Which is really frustrating because I haven't got this sword with me here just because I like swinging around and making it look cool. I'm actually out to find the actual bastards that are threatening not just my clan, not just my covenant, but the whole kindred of this city. So
And I didn't say what I said yesterday to threaten you. I meant that as a minor jest, and if the Order were after you, I would at least give you some heads up about it. I've never seen you do anything wrong to the Order nor to anybody else. And I can understand that the Order can be. The Order doesn't necessarily support altruism very well. You're going to have to force that. If I didn't have the advantages of being a pharmaceutical head, it would have taken me much longer to try to make a weaning method for the violet drug. And I ain't gonna deny, scales are not pretty things. The fact that we do what ourselves with the coils as it is, it wasn't for the fact that it's been practiced for centuries, would be much messier too.
You say that it's not messy, as if it's not messy.
It's cleaner than it used to be.
I can't speak
Works in
for the
markets.
others. I can't actually speak for the others, but I didn't have to torture or do anything horrible to anyone to attain the coils that I have.
But what happened to you that you don't remember?
Probably was something really, really fucked up, I would guess. If not, they wouldn't want to make me not remember it. However, everything seems to be pointing to a kindred called the Wolf.
Which
Yep.
is awkward because my sire sees him as a reliable resource.
Do they now?
That's it right there. That's why you don't know what he's doing or whether or not he's after me or who he's after or what his plans are, because he's a reliable resource. Because that's how the Ordo operates. They're cool and they're calculated, and they understand acceptable losses, and they understand how to keep the status quo where it's meant to be. I'm tired of the status quo.
Mm.
What is your counter proposal?
My counter proposal is I use the resources I can find. I use what I can get to try to get as much information as I can. Look at things. Look at resources from what they are, without the bias of sect hatred. As you said, the Ordo, they wish scientific pursuit. The coils are about pursuing science and pursuing an understanding of our condition. However, in doing that, they lose sight of things that cannot be denied. The power of the magic and the rituals that the Crones and the Lankea have cannot be denied. And I think we blind ourselves in refusing to acknowledge the legitimacy of it.
I don't know if we deny the
So-
legitimacy, but we deny the respect.
If you don't, if you have empirical evidence that a thing exists and is real, then why not give it respect?
So Nikolai's going to clear his throat a little bit, and I go, maybe I walk in different circles. Maybe I just pay attention differently. But no, cool. There are others like me who do take note of the magic that the others can cast. Both the Crones and the Lancium Sanctum. Although we do not have access to it, we do make use of such knowledge to further our own pursuits. We come about the magic differently. Out of character, I'm just going to remind you guys, scales can be made through a cult.
Yes, they can be.
Yep.
And Julian will nod to that. As our motto is, and I think the main purpose I'm really trying to get, I feel with the Ordo, is the Ordo has been very big about self-made people. The Crone and the Linkea, not saying that their work is not their own, but at best you can say, or at worst you can say their power is borrowed. Is borrowed. Saying that their magic is not effective, saying that their magic cannot shape the very world around them is absolutely idiotic. But saying that it's as, let's say, as outstanding as a coil, that's here or there. I would say for a fact, no magic could ever reproduce what we do. At best, they can emulate it to a point.
Gives a small shrug and says, "It's more magic works differently than anything else."
And I won't deny creating balls of sun, earthquakes, or whatever you have there is effective and even outstanding. But I joined the Ordo not simply due to my loyalty to my family, but due to the fact that the Ordo promised you a perfection of the self. No other covenant does that for you.
Personally, I joined because I find the Lancium to hoard their knowledge. They do not like sharing. They do not like education. They do not like growth of oneself. It's all about the growth of their own soul. And crones, the crones aren't really concerned with the gathering of knowledge, the evolution. They are more to the status quo than we are.
And to be honest, it's not like we haven't cooperated with nearly every member of every covenant. Outside of the Lankea, we're relatively at good terms on everybody. The Invictus, the Invictus see us relatively on good light. The Crone owe us a favor. I am working actively with the Carthians right now.
In like I said, it is not the Lancium Sanctum as a whole. It is just one particular Lancium Sanctum member that most of us cannot get along with.
And then he has his groupies, which, as I was worried about you, I feel like he has in a thrall. Not literally, but more of a matter of speaking. I'm not denying Baneforth's charisma, his power over the crowd, but I feel like that he is hollow in a sense. I don't have respect for Showman because I was homeless. I have no reason to respect Showman. I was worried about making sure I could eat and find a place that wouldn't kill me in the next 24 hours.
And how was it someone managed to take notice of you?
Sometimes I think I was just lucky.
I'm not a child. I'm not a groupie. I'm not a starstruck little girl who's incapable of making my own decisions. And I don't really appreciate you insinuating that's what this is.
That's what I thought.
His words were that I was joining the Lane K. I never said that. I was.
But as I also stated the day prior, we don't talk too often. I nearly speak to Nikolai, even though he's not part of my quarter, at least every few days.
It's the fact that you make that assumption about me. How was it that we came upon the worm's nest?
Outside of the report, and he thinks about it for a moment. I actually can't remember clearly.
Me. I made the deal with the Carthian. I got the information. I kept it from the Lankea. I was the one that did the initial research. I was the one that did the initial reconnaissance on it. I don't appreciate it being insinuated that I'm just some stupid little girl that doesn't know how to find her place in this order, that doesn't know how to make her own decisions, that is willing to just give up. And I find it silly that you're all talking about your hatred for one individual and how that's clouding your judgment on how you see people and how you see the decisions that they make.
He raises his hand and goes, I've made it clear that I dislike him because of what he is and does. I do not believe it clouds my opinions. And I've made it also very clear that this doesn't cloud my opinions to other Lancium Sanctums, or of my opinion of you. I have just stated that he rubs certain people the wrong way. I find it kind of just as insulting that you are taking my words and twisting them.
She's not speaking of you, she's speaking of me.
She said all three of us.
But
At which point I would like to say that I speak for myself. I don't bear Joshua hatred, but I'm keeping an eye on him, as I know he's keeping an eye on me.
it's not like I want to salt the earth with his ashes. I just want to kick his ass.
And you'll get your chance.
I don't hate him enough to even. I wouldn't call what I have hate. I just find him annoying.
You sound like a bunch of children talking on about a burn book.
Mm.
This is what he wants. As I've said, he's a showman. He does what he does for very specific reasons. He does things to get rises out of people. He does things so that they're looking at him and they're not looking at what he is accomplishing and what he is doing, what the people around him are doing. The fact that, again, you're distracted. You're looking exactly where he wants you to look. But this isn't about him. I wanted to clear the air. I wanted to say my piece because I don't appreciate either side, you, him, or anyone else speaking on my behalf. What I do and what I follow and where my research lies is my own business. If you think it fit to come after me or have the Ordo come after me because you think I'm a traitor, so be it. But that's all I need to say.
I hear you. Haven't heard anything about anyone wanting to actively get after you. Mind you, should I do, I'll let you know.
The wolf will come for me in his time.
Well, let me know. Maybe I fancy giving him a piece of my mind for a change.
I go back with the wolf a long time. When he's ready to come for me, he'll come for me. It's a question of how that ends for him. For that, I guess we'll just see.
Fair enough.
But
I'll
that's
have to
all
overwits with him at some point. But pardon me, I interrupted you.
No, I was just going to say that's all I need to say about it. That's all I have to say about it.
I hear ya.
Julian just kind of sighs for a moment. Um, excuses or reason or not, you make a valid point. I am underestimating and assuming what your skills are and what your intentions are, and I should have faith in you that you know what you're doing. And I wish for forgiveness on that. But I would like to ask, just in future events, a sign of confidence, a sign that not necessarily that you're with me or against me or anything like that, but I guess the word I'm going to use to say is involved, but it's not true. You have been involved, but just haven't seen it. I guess that's really what I want. Is like I need some type of evidence, and like I stated, we don't talk much.
I don't.
I wasn't aware I was supposed to report to you.
You don't necessarily have to report with me in official business, but he looks over to Marcus and goes, I am aware of his situation with his sire. I'm even aware of some of his aspirations that he has, that he wants to have with not only his own abilities, but with his people, just his future endeavors of being a existing being. And then he'll report to Nikolai. I am aware of not necessarily exactly what he does, but how, not even how he does it, but I'm aware that he's working, he's gathering information, he's involved, not always in Ordo business, but business in general, and he gives me hints now and then at what he wants to willing to tell me. I just never hear anything from you. I know we're not best friends or anything, but I even know a little bit. I even know bits what Natalia is doing. She's not even an Ordo.
I think he's more trying to say he's concerned about you. He wish you would talk to us, and he misses you.
You sound like my mother.
I know. And Nikolai gives a small grin.
And Marcus joins into the mischievous grin.
When I have relative information, I'll report it back to the Ordo. If you want to know personally about what I'm doing, you just need to ask.
Look, it's
But
not.
the nature of what has been happening between what we have been fighting, the issues with the wolf, it's not something I felt I should be openly talking about, because I was told in very explicit terms that the more I talk about it, the more danger I and everybody else is in.
Says Nikolai will go, look, I don't believe you even have to talk about that stuff. Or even reveal any of your work. I certainly do not reveal anything I do to these folks. No offense. But as he gestures to the other two, what I believe
None
they're
taken.
more asking is we sometimes have a game night. They'd appreciate it if you show up once in a while. Don't make yourself so scarce around us. We want to help you. We want to be friends.
And yeah, the idea for the poker night was mine because I thought folks might enjoy just, a normal evening of playing some poker, some banter, smoking cigars.
It isn't even order. It isn't even order only. If you can bring your clown friend.
She looks like she is very deeply considering the connotations of that.
Yeah. He'll just make a wry smile and just go. We consider it an achievement when we get the Carthians and the Invictus in the same room, just chatting, with no politics.
We'll see.
The door is open. No pressure.
I appreciate that. Said I have a lot to think about. I haven't necessarily made any decisions one way or another.
Why does that sound familiar to myself? Oh yeah, it's one of my worst attributes.
But in any case, I should get going. I appreciate you meeting me.
Hey, I'm happy that that you felt that you could actually come and have a chat with us. Safe travels, and give the ringmaster my regards.
I will.
Nikolai will get up and greet you, or sorry, not greet you, but give you a handshake. As a departing, and just slip you a note as he shakes your hand.
Okay.
It basically says, "Look, if you need." It just says, "If you need anything discreetly that you don't want the Ordo gang involved in, give me a ring."
Okay.
Out of character, it's Nikolai can respect secrets. He can respect wanting to do your own thing.
Mhm.
Julian will nod as you leave and say, Godspeed.
Good luck.
Marcus just gives her a mischievous wink.
I'll raise an eyebrow at that. But okay.
And with that, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a good morning, evening, or night.